Hello, everyone. We're back with FanDuel tight end analysis for week 2. Jason did our FanDuel write-up for this week, and I am happy to introduce our lovely man and my co-host, Jason. How's it going, bud?
Doing good. Thursday, we get a great Thursday night game tonight.
Ooh,
Could
Bills,
be could be
Jets.
about 9-6 is what I'm predicting it to finish at.
Yummy. We're going to take it all in and watch it just like we watched that 49ers Rams game. We're all going to just eat it up because we love the NFL, right?
Yeah, it's not too bad. After watching that game, it was just like, oh my God, that was
After
bad.
watching that game, you know what I said? I was like, you know who's getting an extension? Jeff Fisher. That's who's getting an extension.
We need to keep this NFL product just the way it is. So let's give him a 3-year extension.
Oh man. Anyway, let's get into some plays and ideas that are actually profitable and actually exciting. You're looking at Delaney Walker here at his price on FanDuel. Jason, what are you looking at there?
6,600. Obviously, it is a step down from Jordan Reed. I don't mind Jordan Reed this week. I just feel like I'd kind of rather spend elsewhere. Delaney Walker's still a little bit pricey, but 66 is certainly a difference. Obviously, a great matchup against Detroit, who we saw give up 3 touchdowns to Jack Doyle and Dwayne Allen last week against Indianapolis. They allowed the 4th most fantasy points per game to opposing Titans last year, gave up a ton of touchdowns. They allowed 12. It didn't look like they fixed that issue in week 1. With Tajay Sharp having a tough matchup against Darius Slay, I think Delaney Walker is going to be the main guy here this week. And I think they're going to be playing catch up for most of the game. So I think just everything kind of really sets up well for one of those vintage Walker weeks where I could see kind of that 6 for 70. Maybe we get the touchdown, maybe we don't. But I do think he has a reasonable floor. And I think he's a pretty safe play in cash.
I agree. I do think he's a cash game play. You sort of look at Jordan Reed, and I do like him as well. But with the price difference, I'm still trusting Delaney. If he flails out this week, I think we're gonna have to start to question whether or not we have to adjust. What we believe this Tennessee Titans passing game to be. But I think for now we still have to go with what we've seen the last 2 years, and really some really good chemistry last year with Walker and Mariota. Next here is a guy I'm actually really excited about. I didn't put him in DK, but he's someone I'm definitely looking at in this range on FanDuel, which is Antonio Gates against this Jaguars defense. Their linebackers do not scare me. I love Miles Jack for year 2 and 3, but right now it just seems like they're all over the place. Gates, really in a good spot here.
Yeah, I like him a lot. 700 cheaper than Delaney Walker. Obviously was non-existent in that first matchup there against the Kansas City Chiefs, who allowed the least fantasy points per game to tight ends last year. So it was obviously a horrible matchup for him. With Keenan Allen now, you obviously expect more of the targets to be in towards Dontrell Inman, into Antonio Gates, obviously Woodhead. You expect those guys to get. Travis Benjamin's another name. You expect a lot more kind of versatile pass distribution. So I like Gates here at that price tag. I think he's a cash game guy. You look at this matchup, Jacksonville allowed the 6th most fantasy points to tight ends last year. Obviously, Jared Cook, Richard Rodgers didn't do much against him in the first week, but I think Gates is kind of on another level, has always had that consistent production with Rivers. And a pretty high team total to target. And I think overall this game is going to be pretty pass heavy on both sides. So I like Gates here. I think he's going to be getting the ball quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I mean, Keenan Allen being out is just a brutal thing, but it's something we got to deal with. Rivers going to be just, dumping it off to Woodhead and Gates. So, yep, that's what we're looking at there for sure. In terms of GPP tight ends, we're gonna, yeah, this is gonna be, it's gonna be sad times here pretty soon when we are burying Kobe Fleener, and we're gonna be at his funeral pretty soon if he doesn't start doing anything. But you're giving him one more shot here as a GPP tight end.
Yeah, I am. I mean, 5,600. Obviously, I would take Gates for the consistency. I would still rather pay up for Walker in cash, but GPPs, I'll give him a look. Obviously, Breeze is on the road. We know about his home road splits. Does that factor into a lot of the production for the wide receivers? We'll see. But I think you look at him in week one, he wasn't a factor because you had Snead and Cooks and, Cadet out of the backfield doing all the damage. When Breeze gets in a rhythm like that, there's no reason for him to go to Fleener, and I don't blame him. Why try and force what's something that's already working? So obviously, it's a great matchup here. Giants allowed the second most fantasy points to tight ends last year, failed to contain Jason Witten as they always do in week one. I think the Saints are going to have to play catch up. I think they're going to have to really keep up here and throw the ball. He's going to be strictly a GPP play, but I can see him having a bounce back week. But we saw the floor. That floor is certainly there.
Listen, guys, I'm pointing at you. Yeah, you. No, don't look away. You. Yeah, with the brown hair. And no, you don't have glasses. Well, maybe you have glasses. Robert Meacham was good with Drew Brees. So that means Kobe Fleener can be good with Drew Brees. That's all I'm saying. Drew Brees got Robert Meacham paid. Lance Moore got 1,000 yards with Drew Brees. Kobe Fleener, let's go, baby. Let's go. I figure if I keep shouting, then Kobe will butterfly affect him into the end zone this weekend. But
let's hope so. Jesus Christ.
5,600. Certainly a good value. They paid him a ton. He was out there for 80 to 90% of the snaps. The Giants aren't good at covering tight ends. I just think this is a great matchup. So there's so many weapons in that offense. There's no way it's going to be spread evenly every week. I think week one was a Snead and Cooks week. So I think we can look at Fleener and be, at least fairly confident he's going to get some opportunity.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I like Fleener. I will not have my exposure that I did to him in week one, but I'll certainly be getting my shares.
Definitely. And last guy here, the Barnmeister, born in a barn, born in Gary, Indiana. A barn in Gary, Indiana. Gary Barnage went to Louisville, played with Brian Brom, and that's all I got. What do you got for me, Jason?
6K, he was another guy who absolutely just shat the bed in week one. And as you pointed out, Robert Griffin might have had something to do with that. Didn't really look his way, even though Barnage was out there 90 plus snaps, or 90 percentage, not 90 plus snaps. That'd be insane. But you look at Griffin going down, Josh McCown under center, who obviously developed a pretty good connection with him last year. 123 targets in 2015, over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Baltimore's defense is one that I'm on the hinge about. I want to see how they kind of produce. Obviously, I don't think week one was an indicator. I think it was just more the Bills being bad. But in terms of Football Outsiders, they did rank them 23rd last year, even though they didn't give up a ton of fantasy production. But Barnage, 21 total targets in 2 games against him, caught 15, 170 yards and a touchdown. I think he's well worth the risk for a bounce back game here. Even though there is Corey Coleman and obviously Terrell Pryor saw some usage, I still think Barnes is going to be the go-to guy for McCown, and I think a lot of people might try and exploit that. But it's not a for sure thing, but I do like the upside.
Now, we are a factually correct show, so I just did a little fact checking on myself. There is, in fact, a Gary, Indiana. I have no idea if well, let's see where Gary Barnage was born. Hold on, folks. See here. There is a Gary, Indiana, though. I just want everyone to know that. Oh, Bowling Green, Kentucky. All right, Gary.
That's close enough.
All right. Yeah, that's fine.
And you know what? He's born a day after my birthday, September 22nd. So
yeah,
lock and load him for week 2.
So take this, knowledge and maybe not use it into, your DFS lineup construction. But if you're on the subway and you want to stump someone, say, hey, which first name is a town in Indiana? People will be like, I don't know. And then you'd be like, Gary, Indiana. And they're like, oh, wow, there you go.
Yeah, see, the only one I know is Pawnee, just from strictly Parks and Rec.
Pawnee?
Yeah, Pawnee, Indiana.
Oh, wow, there you go.
Come on. You didn't watch Parks and Rec?
Some of it. Maybe the highlights on YouTube from time to time.
Well, get on that. It's on Netflix.
Anyhow, these are some solid picks and should help you with some roster construction here on FanDuel. So thanks for tuning in. As always, we don't not like, you liking and subscribing our YouTube channel. So if you would be kindly enough to do that or leave us a comment in the comment section, we'd be gladly answering them for you. So as always, check out Daily Fantasy Cafe for all our great tools and content.